Test. Guess, Mike.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium here for the big one. It's the big semi-final, 1v2 in the competition, game 47 on the schedule. Auckland finished one after the round robin, and then, as we saw, it was Wellington that pipped North Harbour. Both finished on equal points after the round robin, but Wellington with the wood over North Harbour in the round robin, they deserve the second spot, so they'll play in this major semi-final. The winner of this will go to the grand final tomorrow. That's scheduled for 2 o'clock live on Sky Sport. And of course, over on Diamond 2 at this point is the other semi-final, 3v4. North Harbour taking on Canterbury. The winner of that will take on the loser of this at 11 a.m. tomorrow on Diamond 2 for the right to get that grand final against the winner of this one. I'm Jason Gerbies, aka Chopper. Great to have you along with me in here in the booth, though. Also with me is Ricky Early, great commentator from Auckland. Ricky, thanks for taking the time.
Chop, great to be here, mate, and great to be here for the big game. Obviously, the defending champions up against, well, most probably the number one seeds coming into the tournament after the current season that we've had. So we're buckled in for probably the best two teams to date in the country, and 1v2 winner goes through. So we'll see what happens here, and obviously a big game over on Diamond 2 also.
A lot to happen, and it's all to go unfold for you here. The Sky Sports Next, the home of sports, Sky Sport. Great to have you along for it. This one pops up. We'll go out to play down the line. Let's have a look at the fielding lineup for Wellington first. Riley Mark here, Damon Creasy and Dylan Jackson left to right in the outfield. Jerome Aimaki will get the start in the hot corner, with Dante Matakatia will be starting at shortstop. Second base, Zach Boyd, Wayne Laulu's over at first base. Behind the dish, Jaden Stratford. For the big lefty, David Rogers on the hill. Offensively for Auckland, let's look at them now. Bradley Bennett, who's in the batter's box now, leads off. Sebs Gibson, the first baseman, he hits two. Cole Evans, Ben Anoka, Kellen Compain, all power hitters in the mid of the order there. Nathan Nukanuka, designated player coach, will hit from himself in the sixth spot. Thomas Anoka, Campbell Anoka, and rounding out the batting order will be Reese Evans for Auckland. There they are, 1 to 9, all set in the field here. And what should be a fantastic matchup, Ricky.
Yeah, when you look through the batting order, I won't even go through the first six, but when you've got a lineup with Thomas Anoka, Campbell Anoka, Reese Evans at 7, 8, 9, it's going to be a big night for Davey Rogers to try and hold that offense down of the Auckland team.
David Rogers sharing a big workload for Wellington this week. Obviously Bennett flying out to the right fielder for the first out here in the top of the first innings.
Yeah, David Rogers done a great job for Wellington this week, obviously with Josh Pettit not being here and a couple of other injuries. He's carried a fair chunk of the workload, and he's done a great job getting his team through to the number 2 qualifying spot for the tournament. So as I say, a big game here from tonight up against a very experienced and world-class offensive lineup in the Auckland team.
David Rogers, as you so rightly puts, Ricky, comes into the ball game having a big load because of Josh Pettit unavailability for the Wellington Thunder as they try to defend their title from Lower Hutt last year, the 2020 title. But also Brad Woosley going down in the warm-up before the first game of the tournament on day one. Rogers comes in with a 3.15 ERA, faced 68 batters, 13 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, 7 walks, 12 runs he's led in, but only 6 of them earned, 18 hits, given up 3 wild pitches. So a pretty decent workload there from David Rogers.
He's done a good job. He's made the most of being a left-hander. You don't see a lot of them, so he's doing good. But he throws a lot of change and off-pace pitches. He's not going to blow up by. He's not a power pitcher, as you'll see from Chapman from Auckland, but he's done a great job of keeping the hitters off balance this week.
So you can ask for. Seth Gibson's patient. He'll go down to first base for the walk.
And that's something Davey can't afford to do. He's got to make the Auckland batters earn their way on. You know, they are a class hitting outfit, but you can't give guys like Cole Evans, the next hitter, a batter on base, one of his teammates on base to aim for, because that makes him even more tougher and more determined when he gets to the plate.
Cole Evans. Well, what do you say about this guy, Ricky? He has been outstanding this summer, hasn't he?
Yeah, he stepped up. I think he hasn't had an official game as Black Sox captain yet, but I think taking on that mantra, he's taken on a huge responsibility for the game and for himself, and his training and work ethic has certainly increased, and it's come into his game day hitting and fielding and the whole attitude he does in the ball game.
Cole Evans comes in after day 2 on the leaderboard, second on the batting stats. Very impressive, 583, 7 hits from 12 at-bats. Only pipped at the post by Brad Rona. And a hiatus coming back out of retirement, 625.
Yeah, big bad Brad, he's coming from Diamond 27 over here in Rosedale Ballpark. He's taken an Uber across and he's come into the main field here at Freeman Field, and also level off field on Diamonds 1 and 2, and he's enjoying the dirt back under cleats rather than the grass and the Astro turf out there. And had a good week, so hopefully he's carrying on Diamond 2 for his North Harbour Association.
Cole Evans, though, he's been the top of the pops all over the place. 7 RBIs after 2 days, 3 home runs, and he topped that with another one earlier today. So 4 home runs off the bat of Evans in this tournament so far.
Yeah, it's a different yard tonight, chopping at the last, even the Vic Youth the last couple of weeks ago, and the first few days of this tournament. The wind's been blown across from sort of right field out to left field and to the club rooms, as we'll see in the outfield shot there. And there's been a couple of balls that peppered that tin roof out there, but tonight she's blown straight in from centre field, so it's a little bit different to a standard Rosedale Ballpark or ELE Stadium.
Yes, I tell you what, it's a beautiful day to put the sail on the yacht into the lake at centre field, because the wind is blowing rather well. Beninoka, he'll take his chances against that headwind. 2 walks issued in a row here to Auckland, just 1 out. Drop ball's high. High enough for Gibson. And Evans to scamper on to third and second. So now they're in scoring position, Ricky.
Yeah, I think with this wind blowing in, and as we are in the city of sails here, I think Beninoka's probably looking to get something elevated here and get something up on the foils and score a couple of runners from the base paths coming in a la Prada today.
Missed all that. Prada do well?
They got the first one. I'm not too sure about the second one. Well, probably one of our guests will probably email or text or Insta into us, Chopper, and let us know about that.
America's Cup, obviously, full flow here, the Prada Cup, looking for that challenger to take on Team New Zealand in the America's Cup. And we wish, obviously, Stephen McIver and the international crew all the best of luck with that one as they bring that to the world stage, the broadcast. Will be missed tomorrow, Stephen. Sky Sport in the house for the women's and men's final. But Gordon Paladin will step right in. Looking forward to working with him.
We're missing the Doyon tomorrow. We've got the Paladmeister.
Inoka, 1-1 count. Fouls this one back.
And Ben's been pretty steady this week, but the game prior to this, obviously, the viewers at home saw that the Hawke's Bay Auckland game went to about the 6th innings and Auckland was scoreless, but Ben came up with a clutch 2-run double and got his team up there, and Coach Nuku changing his lineup around. I think the last game has given everyone some at-bats, but he's brought the cream to the top here, and with Beninoka into the 4th spot, back where he belongs, a world-class hitter and a senior Black Sox member.
Interesting to watch the strategy of Nuku in the last match. Won't talk about it too much here in this one, but not only changing the roster, starting roster, but also changing their approach attacking-wise, trying some different manoeuvres, all in preparation in case they need it in the big ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always, it's tough that, what we call a dead rubber before a 1v2 game, the game for Auckland.
In front. Not much, he's trying to go home with the throw and it goes wide. They might score 2 here. Just the one comes in. Mucky got a glove to that grounder off the back of Inoka, but couldn't handle it as it bobbles off the chest, and then spin move to try and get him out going home.
Yeah, a little bit of a three hopper to Raumaki in the 5-6 hole. He had to go across it, come off the glove. Seth Gibson goes home. The throw wasn't too bad, but Gibson not sliding probably helped his chances there because it knocked the glove of Jaden there at home and knocked the ball away. So I think if he slides, Stratford makes that play and we get an out. So with one out, Auckland score their first run of the ball game, and this is a little bit of a danger time for Wellington. Runners on the corners, and then comes the very powerful and very confident Kellen Compain.
Just a little time taken here as Gene Robinson comes out to have a chat to his troops. Assistant coach Warren Stoddard, the head honcho for Wellington Thunder in this NFC.
And Kellen Compain steps into the batter's box. He's hitting a real respectable 429 this week. He's got 6 hits from 14 plate appearances, but he's got plenty of power. And that's one thing Davey Rogers needs to be careful of here. And Inoka goes down to 2. And called out. Nice play from Stratford.
Well, that's Wellington for you. It's the MO, isn't it? They're not afraid to throw the ball. That 1 and 3 runner play, what type of defensive setup? Well, the good thing is you saw Coach Robinson come out to talk to them, and they had a plan. They executed it perfectly.
Yeah, it was interesting. Ben wasn't sort of going 100%. It was sort of in between a half steal and trying to get the run down, and then he went wide, but Cole Evans saw that Matakatia had control of the ball at 2 and didn't go home on the play.
Outside. Early lead for Auckland here, 2 outs. Still got a run of 60 feet away at third base, looking to double it before they finish with his first dig.
Hard to do. 3-1. Well, 3, strike 1.
3-1 the count, and a hitter's count here, Compain. Big swing, boy. He wasn't just looking to convert the runner from 3, he was looking to add 2.
Yes, you said it straight away, Chopper. It's a hitter's count right there, so he's loaded up big time there on a 3-1 count. Nice piece of work from Davey Rogers to get the ball by him there.
Inside again.
And the rise ball gets him there.
Rise ball with a little tail inside the Compain, but it's not before Auckland convert. Ben Inoka causing an error by the third baseman, Marmaki. They pick up 1 here in the top of the first innings. We'll be back with the bottom of the first and all the lineups for you as we continue here at the NFC semi-final, Auckland.
Let's set the field for Auckland.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LE Sports Stadium here for the running of the Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship. I'm Jason Gibbs, aka Chopper.
Leading
Joining me in the
off for
booth
Wellington,
is Ricky
number 11,
Early.
shortstop.
A fantastic
Dante
matchup here between
Matakati.
North and South, Auckland
Dante
and Wellington.
Romaki.
It'll be Auckland taking the field here. Let's have a quick look at them for you. Bradley Bennett, Anoka, and Anoka. That is Ben and Campbell left to right in the outfield. Hot corner, Reece Evans, Cole Evans, Thomas Anoka, mainstay up the middle. Seth Gibson over at first base. Callum Copain behind the dish for the starting pitcher, Ricky, is Daniel Chapman.
It looks like a late change made by Nathan Nuku with the Auckland team.
First pitch.
And Max Early coming in to catch for Callum Compain.
Ah,
So I
yeah,
don't know
sends
whether
it to the centre fielder.
something's wrong
Bennett
with
Oka,
Callum.
who's under
He had his
straight
at bat.
play
Or
in
that
the
was a
first
technical
That will
sort of
bring
a
it back
thing with
one
the
out.
clubmates
Third
coming
baseman,
in there.
number 17,
So it'll be interesting to have a
Ramaki.
chat with Nathan after the game, see
On
what the,
deck,
what the
Ryan.
story is there, or if we can get someone down there to understand what's going on.
Well, we do know that Callum Compain came into the tournament with an injury after playing, not playing the Vic Girtha's home tournament there a couple of weeks ago. So maybe still feeling a little bit of those effects. But to be fair, Max Early, an outstanding young catcher coming through the grades. Of course, we know he's your son, but boy, he's earning his own stripes right now.
Outside for ball one.
Yeah, he's got a good week of experience here, and yeah, it was quite interesting. I saw him come out and take the warm-ups. I thought Callum was just putting the gear on. He was doing that, but whether he's just staying there and not letting Nathan Callum come out of the dugout, but let's all go here.
It is indeed plenty of action, and that's the action we like, to be fair. It's been thick and fast here at the Golden Homes NFC. Jerome Ramaki now steps in to go to work.
Outside. 3 balls, no strikes.
So Chapman being a little bit careful with Ramaki. Hit one out the other night, the other way.
Hits his own for a strike call. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Understandably so. Jerome Ramaki, not only one of the top hitters in New Zealand, but in the world at this point. Last professional club tournament in the United States a couple of years ago. Finished top hitter.
Hit down, hot corner.
Ground ball this time though to Evans at third base. That'll
Reece
race him
Evans
going
makes the
over to
play
first
first.
base. Let's have a look at the batting lineup
Second outs.
for Wellington now. It was Dante Matakati we saw lead off in the Ramaki just then. Riley Markia, Wayne Laulu, Tyson Burnham, the meat of the sandwich of the order for them. Dylan Jackson will be hitting in the 6th spot. Jaden Stratford, the catcher. Creasy, the centre fielder. And Zach Boyd, the speeds to second baseman, rounds out the batting order for the boys from the capital, Wellington Thunder.
And Chapman did a nice job there. Started working Jerome inside and then went outside, then came back in and got one off the hands. A nice ground ball to the ever reliable Reece Evans in the hot corner for Auckland over at third base, over to Seth Gibson.
Up top for ball 2.
Daniel Chapman, he's been having himself a fair, decent tournament, hasn't he? I mean, we've seen his rise ball just punishing his way through. Comes into this ball game with a 1.5 ERA, 14 innings of work, 17 strikeouts, 8 walks, 3 runs. They're all earned, 5 hits from the 56 batters that he's faced.
Yeah, Chapman an out-and-out power pitcher. You know, you get the power pitchers and you get the finesse pitchers
Strike call.
who
3
mix up the
balls,
pace a little
1
bit.
strike.
Chapman has a good change-up, but he's a power pitcher. Had a little bit of trouble in the first game just getting back on the block, pitching off the dirt. And just gets one inside to Riley Markia.
Markia takes
Journey
that
over
and
on
walks
Markia.
down to
He'll take
first
his place
base.
on
I tell you
first
what
base.
though, he's walking
And then
calmly,
brings
but he'd
back
be
with 2
furious
down,
inside.
runner on
Because
one.
when you get hit from
20,
Chapman,
the
you
first
feel it.
baseman,
Yeah,
Wayne
that doesn't tickle,
Laulu.
Chop. Got one on the tricep there. So he's looks like the designated runner is going to come in and take over for Riley at first base. Hopefully he's okay. It looks like he's all right. Might have a little bit of a bruise tomorrow, but not the first time he's been hit. Probably won't be the last, and obviously not intentionally.
Big swing
And in
miss
comes
for strike 1.
The very powerful Wayne Laulu in the 4-hole for Wellington. Marty McBride comes in and does the run-in at first base for Riley Markia.
Big Wayne. Bit of powerhouse, what a swing. Boy, oh boy, Chapman's pace just beats him on the inside. But I tell you what, Waingaulu's backswing's faster than what I can go forward.
Yeah, he's all power. We'll talk about power pitching, we'll talk about power hitting. There's no in-betweens for Wayne. He's not throwing any change-up swinging the bat. He's swinging it hard. You see the change-up there from Chapman, just trying to mix it up a little bit. Just makes the, whether it's a strike or not, the change-up just makes the hard stuff seem harder. So you've just got to have that in there to make sure the batters are aware that there's something a little bit off-pace coming down at some stage.
Inside, high hopper, Evans, transfer is perfect. Auckland keep it intact. Wellington will leave the hit pitch to Mark here, stranded on base here in the bottom of the first inning. Score stays 1-0. Plenty of action to come here in this major semi-final. Auckland and Wellington. It's Auckland with the lead at the moment, 1 run.
Your team lose again, bro?
I've never seen a ball bounce like that before.
The weekends for calls. Make yours at tab.co.nz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LE Sports Stadium here. We've got ourselves a goodie in the Golden Homes National Fastpitch major semi-final. Wellington in their black and yellow in the field here. Top of the second innings taking on Auckland. First pitch swinging Nathan Nukunuku, player coach. Should be followed by Thomas Anoka and Campbell Anoka here. Batting lineup for Auckland is deep, Ricky.
Deep 1 through 9, probably 1 through 12, to be honest, Chop. There's some guys on the bench that can do some damage as well.
Ground ball, straight to second base. Zach Boyd will take that. Eat it up for breakfast, or maybe a light supper at this time of the evening, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the MO from David Rogers and Jaden Stratford. Just another off-pace. Started with a little bit of a frisbee rise ball that Nathan swung out, and then just a little off-pace drop ball. Got him ground out to Zach Boyd. We have a comfortable Zach Boyd across the first base for out number 1. So that's the big outs for David Rogers tonight. The first outs are very important for him.
Starting with a change up on Thomas Anoka now. Opposing second baseman. Laces this one will go foul. Anoka though having himself a tournament.
Yeah, Tommy's going good. He's got an on base average of 471, and he's hitting 333. But he's a clutch player. Like, don't worry too much about his averages. Now that you're into the big semi-finals and the finals, he's a class player, and he'll come up with the big hits.
Running bunt, looks good. Stratford's out, and he throws him out as well. That's the acrobatic play, of course, is for Stratford here, the Wellington catcher, to get a very good running bunt attempt there from Anoka. Yeah,
it was a beautiful play from Tommy Anoka, but an even better play from Jaden Stratford from behind the plate. You know, catchers aren't the fatty popos like we used to be, Chop. He's actually a very, very athletic young man with a good throw, and Stratford comes out, makes the play. He's the only guy that could have made that play. The corners couldn't have come in and made it. He took ownership of it and got Tommy Anoka at first base. Nice play.
Low lifter comes on the inside for a strike on Campbell Anoka now. Campbell looks at the start in right field.
It's quite funny, Chop, when we used to catch, we thought there was a gate on the plate. We couldn't get out. It's like country calendar, you know. They're whistling, but none of the dogs were coming out. But these young guys seem to jump over it, but they're allowed out on the diamond.
I think the only gate I made was to the smoko shed, my friend. Good to see an athletic catcher, though, in the ball game here. Two good athletic catchers now, Stratford for Wellington and early for Auckland, so we should see some good defensive gems from both.
Outside, ball two balls, watch
2 balls and 1 strike now. This one just comes loose out of the hand, and looks like Rogers just trying one of those change of pace pitches.
Yeah, he's trying some variations of the drop ball. You see the drop ball there. But just trying to throw a little bit off pace, so just got away from a bit there. Got that caught back in the palm a little bit.
We see Inoka Campbell patiently waits out his walk. 3rd walk of the match so far from David Rogers. When you look at that stat line so far through the first 8 batters, when he throws it in the zone, he's successful. So you're right when you said at the top of the shop he's got to limit those walks or free passes.
Yeah, there's no coincidence that Auckland have scored their run on a couple of walks early on.
Hard down the line, but foul off the bat of Reece Evans.
Yeah, they got off the one hit they've had so far, but they got their run off 2 walks and a fielder's choice. So Davy's just got to make sure he's got to have trust in his team. Keep the ball down. The wind's blowing in, so you can elevate a little bit because the ball's not going to get out in a hurry. But just trust your defence. Again, he's not a power pitcher. He's not going to strike 15 guys out tonight. If he does, well done. But if he picks up 4 or 5 strikeouts, but a bunch of ground balls and fly balls, his team's going to do well. He's got to understand that.
Set to go again here. Coming right at Evans after him lacing that one down the line. In the hole here a little. 2 strikes, 2 outs.
2 strikes.
Been very impressed with Wellington this week. We talked a little bit earlier at the beginning how they've had the problems with pitching. Obviously JP not coming, Brad Woozy going down, but how their team has responded in their play.
Yeah, and that's the thing about tournaments, Trop. You can get on a roll and you're away, you're in camp, all for one and one for all. You can get that real siege mentality, and that can get you a long way in these tournaments. And sometimes it helps. When you've got an ace pitcher like Pettit here, it's like, we'll just sit back and 1 or 2 runs will do us this game. But when you go into a game knowing, Coach Stoddard will be saying, boys, if we don't score 5, it's not a pitcher's fault. Yep. So it's up to you, offense. You got to even a run in innings. I like to say, let's work for that. We get 7 and we lose. Well, it's no one's fault. Our pitchers have done the best we can, and we've done the best we can offensively. So it changes the whole mentality of your team.
Laying the challenge in front of their feet. Head coach Warren Stoddard for Wellington, and Wellington responding at this point, that's for sure.
And again, the team behind Davey, Davey's not an international pitcher by any standard, and he'll be the first to admit that, but he's given everything he's got out there. So the 8 guys behind him are going, well, you're giving everything you got, mate. Well, we're going to give everything we've got.
This one's loose down below. Well, I heard it in the Bush Telegraph, Ricky, when David Rogers heard that JP couldn't make the trip. He trained every single day. He was training before that, but not as intense as that. Hitting the gym, hitting the road, hitting the pitching bag.
And that's great. And as a teammate, that's all you want. All you want is they can give everything they got. If everything they got's not good enough, well, so be it. But I'm giving you every ounce of energy and talent I've got.
That pass ball doesn't just give the walk to Evans down to first base. It also allows Inoka to go down to 3. So coast to coast are the Aucklanders now. And they'll go back to the top of the shop and Bradley Bennett.
And a big at-bat in the ball game. I know it's early on, but if Bennett can knock in another run here, Auckland will go with a lot of confidence. But if Rogers can get him out, they're still right in the ball game, Wellington.
First pitch. Sarling, will it stay in the yard? That's the question.
That noise on the roof tells me it didn't.
I tell you what, the possums are big at Rosedale Ballpark.
I can't believe that there's a lot of people that come to this ballpark a lot of times, upwards of 50 times, and they still jump in their seats when a ball goes foul. It's like, it's going to land, just be ready for it.
Be ready. Back to the action here against Bennett. 1 strike. Ball is outside. The umpires have buttoned down the strike zone here at the 2021 NFC. They've kept it right in the right limits here, right over the plate. I do too.
I like it. I like it. It's more international strike zone. I'm a big fan of that. We can't have a zone here that we don't. When our players go away, junior Black Sox, junior White Sox, and our senior teams go away and have a different zone that everyone else in the world's playing. I may be harping on a little bit, but it's a little bugbear I got, Chop, and all credit to umpire Porteous here and the umpires that they've taken that on board from the senior players and management in this country and said, hey, let's rope that back in.
Game 47 here. Semi-final matchup, Auckland, Wellington. Winner goes straight to the grand final, live on Sky Sport, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Interesting, Ricky, we talked about Wellington being the defending champions. Well, only a year before that in Christchurch was Auckland pipping Wellington in the grand final.
Yeah, this is a real arch rivalry, isn't it? And Bradley Bennett grounds out to shortstop when he's out at second base to end the inning. But yeah, this is a very historical rivalry from years and years ago, and again, these two teams are featuring at the top of this tournament.
Well, there you go. That'll do us through 1.5. No score. They kept the jar open and didn't allow them to pour it out as the two runners are kept stranded. We'll be back with the bottom of the second to come. It is Auckland leading the ball game 1-0.
G'day, my name's Brent Mulholland. I'm the Managing Director of ELE. I guess what makes ELE quite different from others is all of our people have a technical and management skill set in the sectors that we operate. So ELE as a business operates in the civil, transport, construction, engineering and oil and gas sectors. We have branches in Christchurch, Wellington, Auckland, Hawke's Bay and New Plymouth, and we engage approximately 500 workers on any given day. So if you're a client looking for great staff for your business, we've got people that can help. We're easy to work with, non-corporate, and we like to think we just keep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the first innings was intense from Wellington. They'll try to match that here in the bottom of the second. Tyson Byrne, Dylan Jackson and Jaden Stratford will go 1, 2, 3 here. Tyson Byrne, Ricky, obviously an outstanding middle infielder. This week we're seeing him play catcher, not in this game, but a few of them.
Yeah, he's just carrying a little bit of a groin or a leg injury, and there was talk a couple of weeks ago at the Vic Guth that he was going to have to withdraw from the tournament, so I just don't think he can play middle infield. Yeah. So he's obviously said, look, I can help the team out defensively if needed. If Jaden needs a bit of a rest behind the plate, I'll jump back there and take care of some catching. And great player. I love the enthusiasm of Tyson, the way he plays the game, and he's an exceptional player.
Dylan Jackson now for Wellington. He's having himself a heck of a tournament.
Yeah, hitting 4.44. Picked himself up 4 hits from 12 plate appearances. Obviously, junior Black Sox last year. He pitches, he plays in the infield. Part of the all-world team, if you like, from that tournament. Got a huge future in the game. I'm a huge fan of Dylan's. I've coached against him, unfortunately, with Auckland a few times, and he's killed us in many a national tournament. But a very humble young man, a lovely young man. But he's going to have a long career in the Black Sox in the future. I can guarantee that.
Well, the Thunder would like to see that career start right here, right now for Wellington.
You can see him playing right field tonight. He plays second base, shortstop, third base. He plays first base as well. As I say, he pitches. Haven't seen him catch yet, but no doubt he can get back there if he needs to. But he's a very versatile young man and hits the ball on line there straight to Tommy Inoka. Tommy
Inoka puts the foot and the glove behind a hard grounder from Jackson. Gets the first 2 outs of this bottom of the second innings. Jaden Stratford now the catcher. He will step in and ply his trade against Daniel Chapman, who seems to have it buttoned down.
Yeah, he's a lot more comfortable on the block tonight, if we like. The block we call it, because he's pitching off a timber timber block and off dirt rather than a mat that we traditionally do in New Zealand. And he was very uncomfortable that first day, but he's starting to look a bit more comfortable there now and getting a bit more of a rhythm. Lot more different than what we do chopper. As you're pitching off a flat mat that you let your foot lands in the same height, same place every time, but now you don't land in the footholes and some loose dirt.
Dave, swing!
Check down to first base. Let's introduce the umpiring crew for you. Day 14 down to first base goes that no swing call. Nicky Auger at 2. Gavin Shepherd from Wellington at third base. Calling the balls and strikes. We're in for a treat tonight is Mark Porteous from North Harbour. Mark Porteous, of course, appointed to the Tokyo Olympics if they can get it off the ground.
Yeah, well, he's had his plane ticket booked for a while, hasn't he? He's been waiting in the Corrie Lounge for about 8 months now.
I know, they must be out of Heineken by now, surely.
It's a good at-bat by Jaden Stratford, 2 outs. Picks a four-pitch walk, and looks like...
With 2 outs, yeah, they'll get a chance to change.
They will go with the designated runner, but he's very quick, Jaden Stratford, and it's something I don't know.
Temporary runner.
I agree with it, but it's not an automatic decision that you take your catcher out. When you've got an athlete like Stratford that can steal bases quite comfortably, I see Damon Greasy, next batter up. He's got decent speed, so you don't need to save your DR for him. Yep. But I wouldn't be surprised if he had to stay out there and run the bases.
So it's Marty McBride who will try and turn the turbo jets on, running at first base for Stratford. And Damon Creasy, as you said, swings at the first pitch. McBride tries his luck and it works. Oh, clever play by Evans at second base. McBride, he just doesn't know how to play that game, does he?
Yeah, the one hopper into third.
Just listen in here. Protest from Wellington.
Inside voice, all right? Yeah. Yeah, okay, I understand that part.
There we go. Well, just making sure the kids are behaving in the courtyard here. And what happened there is we saw the throw going down. McBride was going to be cold, but the ball was just away a little bit. Gets away. Evans, an international shortstop, stays there, doesn't move, and doesn't allow McBride to get up.
Yeah, it looks like one of the balls just left the yard for North Harbour and on Diamond 2. There's a hell of a scream over there.
Well, I tell you what, Brad Rona hit one over 2 fences yesterday, and someone's just done it again for North Harbour. Peter Rona, his son. So there you go, the juice is flowing in the Rona house here at the moment. North Harbour, we think, taking the lead. It was 0-0 at the top of the third when we last checked.
How did we not hear Amanda from here? I thought we would have heard her more than the bang off the bat.
Amanda Rona, I tell you, one of the great softball mums, travelled the world to watch her husband play. Many a tournament, many a World Cup, as you know. Brad Rona representing New Zealand for the Black Sox. And boy, you're right, Ricky, you hear her before you see her, right?
We heard her last night in the commentary. She was sitting 4 rows in front of us. But yeah, she's great, Amanda. She got great passion for the game, and especially for her family and her boys and her husband. And why wouldn't you when you've had that much success as a family in this great game of ours?
Well, back to the action here on Freeman Field, because we've got a close one between Wellington and Auckland. Major semi-final. One who goes to the grand final. Next door, the one who'll go to the semi-final, Sunday semi-final tomorrow at 11. Change up, hanging too high though. Good waste pitch on that count, just 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Might be 2 down here, but Greasy's got a big opportunity if he can plug one in a gap here to tie this ball game up.
It's I believe the count. Circles, 2 strikes.
Yeah, umpire Porteous said just a little whisper to catcher inside.
I like that about Porteous.
It's nice to know where he believes the ball is. You might have thought it was a little bit low, but he's saying inside or whatever. So nice to know where the zone is.
Swing.
He gets him swinging for the strike.
Boy, it doesn't matter where that is. That's just a hard cheese rise ball out of Chapman, and he nullifies the threat. They leave 2 stranded in the first. Now they leave 1 stranded here in the second. He looks in command. Watch out, Wellington. Watch out. Well done with 2 complete. We'll be back with more action here from Early Sports Stadium when Auckland will come out to bat.
To keep our prices so low,
We've come a long way since our first TV ad. No, we haven't. They're still simple and low budget, so we can keep delivering you the lowest prices possible. Pack and save. Our policy, New Zealand's lowest food prices.
Stand by, they're about to go. Second pit spot next was O'Daya, 3 wide.
The TAB takes you from wherever you are, right into the race. Melbourne Cup season is here. Join the TAB, deposit $10 and get a $20 bonus with the promo code SPRING. TAB, now you're in the game.
Which horse would you pick here in the semi-final, Wellington or Auckland? It's an exceptional matchup so far, just been broken open of a couple of walks in the first innings before the fielder's choice era, if you like, at third base off Beninoka's bat. That's been the difference in this one so far. Really hard to pick it, Ricky Early.
Yeah, it is, and it's as you would expect from a 1v2 game to see you go straight to the grand final. It's a close one, and that's what we'd like over on Diamond 2. There was a solo home run by Pitarona, so 1-0 over there to North Harbour over Canterbury in the 3v4 game. Must say I wouldn't mind one of those bonus bets. A good friend of mine, Mark Townley, gave me a good tip on the horses in Aussie today. So,
did he?
Yeah, not that great, no. that's why I'm drinking water tonight. Thanks, Doris. Really appreciate your tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep him coming, not.
Right.
Zeth Gibson, Cole Evans, Beninoka here for Auckland. It was Gibson and Evans that walked back to back in the first innings before Beninoka, following them, converted it.
Yeah, and that's what hurt him in the first for David Rogers. So he's got to come back at Seth here and 4 straight balls. That's not what the doctor ordered. So Seth Gibson does a good job of picking a couple of walks in his first 2 at bats.
Just a tangle, wasn't it, Cole?
And you can hear umpire Porteous talking to Cole Evans. Just a tangle at second base there, Cole, wasn't it? Wink, wink. I'd like to. There was nothing in that, Cole, was there? Sarcastically.
Referring back to that stolen base of Marty McBride and the ball going to centre field. Evans, the shortstop for Auckland, decides to take a rest on top of McBride so he couldn't get up.
It's always hard when you fall over, Chopper. I'm the same as it's hard to get up, mate.
It's a day 3. Cole Evans is only young. He's got to be tired. I tell you, if it was me falling over, I'd be still down here. To be honest with you, so.
They'd be calling for ground crew for me, mate. It's got a high ab out there with by the mower.
Yeah. I know that Craig Fuller and the grounds crew out there would bring up the bottle jack and the heartbeat.
Outside the 10 counts at 2 balls at 1 strike.
David Rogers here working into Stratford still for the Wellington Thunder. Just really cautious with this middle part of the order, isn't he?
He is, and rightfully so, but the problem is the middle of the order keeps going till about 9. So he's just got to knuckle down, and you can't be looking up and seeing a name on a shirt or a face, and you got to take every pitch as it is. Don't take it on the player's reputation.
3, strike 1.
Obviously, you got a game plan of what you're doing with different players, but don't get overawed by it. Just stick to your processes.
Hitting count now for Evans.
4.
And they wanted nothing to do with them. Back-to-back walks, just like the first innings. It ended with a run. I hope they've got a strategy to get out of jail this time.
Yeah, this spells danger because the first time there's already an out. Now we've walked the first 2 batters of the innings and it brings up Beninoka, So it's a lot more dangerous than that first time up when you've already got an out in your pocket. And Beninoka with a line drive to the centre right field fence. That scores 2. Billy's up at second base and hits it right in the slot there. Beninoka sees the first pitch, made a good adjustment and drove the ball. No chance of Damon Creasy in centre field catching that one. Good piece of hitting.
Beninoka, one of the best in the world, showing his class here tonight in the semi-final. Also watch David Rogers camped outside for the first 2 batters. He said, if you're going to throw it out there, I'm just going to lean over and drive it. And he'll drive it. He did. 2 more runs. They lead 3-0 now. Tries the change up, slips out of the hand. Callum Compain struck out back in the first innings. David Rogers would give to duplicate that here.
And Max Early stays in the game for Callum Compain. And looks like on deck, looks like Nathan Nukunuku has removed himself from the batting lineup. And flies out to right field.
Yes, that
Comes up.
injury to Compain must be something to consider. And good to see Early getting the chance to stay in the ball game.
Make another change, yeah? Yep.
And Connor Peden will come and hit for player coach Nukunuku in the 6th spot, number 23.
We saw Peden in the DP role in the last match.
It's like with Sage-Chop, you know, you can Nathan Nukunuku has one at bat, and he's just going to bring someone off the bench with the calibre of Connor Peden. You know, it just keeps going. This Auckland lineup, you've still got plenty of firepower with Alphonse and Akovis on the bench there, swinging a bat as well. So he's got almost unlimited resources, and in a game like this, where you can take a player out after one at bat and still bring some quality in, it's a nice luxury, isn't it?
Certainly is. Auckland have looked the goods through the first 2.5 days for sure. Looking the goods here in the semi-final early. Rise ball is the first one that Peden sees. Above the strike zone though for Rogers.
Yeah, wind blowing out, wind blowing in, this man can get out of any yard. So Davey Rogers needs to be a little bit careful, but also he needs to be going at them, and a walk won't help him either.
Hard hit down the ball, and it's in the field. Just goes foul, clips the chalk on the way through. Gavin Shepherd is down third base on this. He had the best view at it, and boy, that must have been close.
Yeah, look close from here, but you know we're up behind the grandstand. Gavin Shepherd's right there. Yeah. That must have been very, very close. It looked close from here. A lot of the crowd were I'm in an iron a little bit, but I trust the man in blue, and you can hear umpire Porteous saying, good call, really good call to Connor Peden. Well, Connor's halfway up first base, so he hasn't got the best view at it, but it's nice to come back. And, you know, one of the best umpires in the country, if not the best, says, no, that's a good call. Yeah,
just up.
Yep, just hear umpire Porteous saying, yep, to Jaden Stratford, yep, that's up.
You can see the breeze on that centre field camera is blowing in here. Flatline drive like Inoka, and that one down the line that just went foul off Peden is the course of action here for scoring. Change of pace is good right on the bottom of the zone.
It's more of an off-pace drop ball than a change. He's just thrown that drop ball back in the palm a little bit and just taken 10 Ks off that, and just enough to keep the batter Peden off balance a little bit.
Just patient is Peden in the box. Doesn't seem flustered, doesn't seem too high or too low, does he?
Yeah, no, it's when he's in a good space, when he's holding a good zone. Not too keen, Connor. Let the ball travel, let it get in. You know, the ball's not getting on to an express pace.
Now misses on the outside edge, and David Rogers, his third walk of the innings, but his 7th walk of the ball game when we're only in the 3rd innings.
Yeah, that pitch there typifies what we're talking about with the zone chopper. This time last year, that's a strike.
Oh, yeah.
And umpire Porteous is all over that. That's an easy strike for him, but the adjustment's been made, and it's good that the hitters have made that adjustment because they're aware of the strike zone, and the umpires are sticking to that strike zone.
This one's high. Jackson will have to take to some foul territory. They'll be able to advance the run. It's deep enough. Playing second base. He might be gone. He is gone. How does Dylan Jackson do that? What a throw from the deep.
And that's, as I say, an infielder playing the outfield, but that's how talented Dylan Jackson is. Makes the place play down in right field territory. And that's the only play he can make. He's not going to make the play at third base, but gets kind of sort of hesitate a little bit, but nice play by Jackson at 2.
Outstanding play, that's for sure. That'll do us through the top of the third innings here from Auckland, and it's a good one.
Great job on that.
Hinanoka converts 2. Auckland lead 3 runs to 0. We'll be back, more action at the bottom of third when we come back.
The trick.
Within the ELE group, we have a range of companies and a very wide range of people. We have 3 core values: growing together. That means with our staff, our stakeholders, and of course with people like you, our customers. Building tomorrow today to build a better tomorrow for us and our customers. And thirdly, keeping it real. Doing things that are going to work for everybody and being mindful of the fact that we're not a corporate, we still have a family feel about our business.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a masterclass from Auckland early in this one as we've been going through the major semi-final here. Game 47 on the schedule. Auckland with a 3-0 lead here as we go into the bottom of the third innings. It'll be Wellington that'll send up Zach Boyd in the 9 spot, then back to the top of the shop, Dante Barakatia and Jerome Reimaki. Lucky for Ricky earlier and myself, we've got a guest coming into the booth here, and I think you'll all be interested to hear what he's got to say, because it doesn't go any higher. Or maybe Jacinda, but other than that, it's the head coach of the Black Sox, Mark Sorensen.
Hi, Jason.
G'day, Mark. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Mark, I noticed you and your coaching staff have been here all week to watch the NFC. What have you thought so far?
Oh, look, I think we're seeing some great young talent coming through. There's a lot of young guys in all of the teams, which is great to see, which is contributing to the evolution of our game. And the pleasing part from our perspective is that these guys aren't just making up the numbers. Some of them are really standing up, being counted, and fighting for spots in the starting lineup, and none more so than looking at the Auckland side right now with young Max behind the plate there. He's been pushing an incumbent Black Sox guy all week, and he's doing a great job.
Hard hit ball here, sorry Mark, but that is outstanding. Just what the doctor ordered though for Wellington here. Trailing by 3 runs, and Dante Matakatia, I guess, Mark, you're talking about young fellas, maybe not as young as Max early, but he's got to be putting his hand up too, I suppose.
Oh, look, the pleasing thing for us about Dante is, he was living in Australia before Christmas, and, when the opportunity for changes were happening in his life and he wanted to come back, but he heard that we were having a camp and he made every effort to get back beforehand to ensure that he was through quarantine and able to contribute in the camp. So, that type of commitment for us is really valued and respected, and I think it's gold. To see someone going to those lengths to be a part of a camp. Sure, it was a big squad, but to see the effort that came from Dante there was really well respected.
Yeah, Mark, I've probably one question I've sort of got for you is there's a lot of talk around with the whole COVID thing and the change of what we're going to miss the 2021 World Series here. What's the latest that you can give us with regard to, is there going to be a World Championship next year at ELE Stadium? And then what's the plan from there going forward? Because that changes your focus. It changes if it's not going to be next year and it's the year after. There's some older guys that may not be able to hold on for another year or two.
No, it's a really good question, Rick. I guess it's the $1 million question at the moment is it going to happen? Well, I think there's a good chance that it'll happen in 2022. Am I 100% confident it's going to be in February? No, I'm not. Because the way that the vaccine's been rolled out, MIQ, the requirements. As you know, with it being an amateur sport and having countries coming from overseas, if they've got a quarantine for 2 weeks,
for $4,000 a player.
Well, that's right. And it's not as though we're a sport that's flush with money. So we're going to need over 500 spots in MIQ. But also with the noise that we're hearing is that there may be an extra week tagged onto it in a bubble isolation outside of, for sports teams. So you're training in your group. Well, our sport can't afford to have teams locked up for 3 weeks before you play the competition. So it means they're away for 5 weeks. We are in terms of our planning, we're planning as though it will be underway and starting next Friday next year, and we'll do that and continue until we're told otherwise. But the short answer is, geez, mate, I wish I knew, because it does make it hard to plan. But it also, from a funding perspective, if it's going to go further, it means that some of the things that we wanted to do later this year, we either put on ice or we run and we look to try and top up that funding.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. The whole pandemic, it's very much the same as business, like we are at work. It's like you can't plan for something that you don't know is going to happen, so you can only plan for what is going to happen. So your total focus right now is that there's going to be a World Championship here in 2022, and with the group of players that you've got, and you go forward from there and adjust
absolutely
if things happen.
And we're very fortunate to live in the country that we do, aren't we? We've got this competition going on. I mean, my wife is at a concert in Wellington tonight with 30,000 people. Right, no masks, no social distancing.
Yeah.
How many countries in the world would love to have that opportunity to be able to do that right now? So we are very fortunate. Life is continuing near normal for us, and we're just controlling what we can control. And that really is linked into, I guess, the fabric of the Black Sox over the years has been, control those controllables and let's do the things that we can in terms of our planning, our preparation, and the way that we go out and play. And we've seen some great ball this week.
We certainly are. Well, Ronnie Markey, you just saw there, it's the first run of the ball game on the leaderboard here for Wellington with that shot to centre field. Even with 2 outs here, the Thunder not resting against Daniel Chapman. A question just around that, Mark. You talked about what your preparation has to be and how your focus is. Mentally for your athletes in your squad, how are they coping with the situation of uncertainty?
I would say there's challenges on that front that we haven't had before, because I know from my time playing, I was a lot better with a target. If I knew we had 12 months, you planned your 12 months in terms of your training and your preparation, and it's not as easy when you're training for a target that is moving a little bit and you're not quite sure that it's rock solid. But again, it's solidarity in numbers and making sure that you're relying on your mates to help push you through as well, because it's not in our sport we rely so much on the guy next to us. So we're trying to encourage guys to expand outside just on the diamond combinations to off the diamond combinations as well. So that's your training partners and the teams and you guys in your club that you can go to the gym with, or you go for a run with, or swim, or whatever it may be. So it's just providing us all with some different challenges to think about different ways that we can stay engaged, stay focused, stay stimulated, and perform as we're seeing this week.
It's difficult for us, Mark, because as you've alluded to, we're sitting here on a beautiful Saturday night in Auckland watching softball as if it's a normal year. To us in New Zealand, you just said to me before you came in here, Doug Roberts from the North America just sent you a message to say, hey, I saw you on the live stream watching this. They aren't even contemplating playing sport or softball or anything like that. It's just totally different. So we're here
with fans as well.
Yeah, we're thinking like, well, why haven't we got a World Series here in 2 weeks? Nothing's different to us, but the rest of the world has to adapt to this pandemic, and you got to work out that at least 6 months before a World Championship, teams in Europe and North America still have to qualify.
Well, I was just going to say that. It's we can't play ourselves.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So teams are scheduled to have their qualifiers, I think, in June, or countries are in June and September this year. So, there are some unknowns in that space.
I think last year they were saying, well, we cancelled the World Series in November. It's like, man, it's still 4 months out. We can't call it yet, but there's only 2 teams that are qualified. Probably the host and the defending champions. So
it raises our percentages, raises our chances of success. I was all for it.
That'll be a short tournament. Well, there you go.
We can do an America's Cup. We had best of 17. We're happy with that. We still made the final.
Fantastic. Mark Sorensen, head coach for the Black Sox in the booth. We'll keep him for a little bit longer here. Just fantastic insight to what the Black Sox are doing, what's coming up for them, and of course the challenges around COVID. Wellington obviously finished up. They picked up that run from Mark here at the bottom of the 3rd innings before Laulu flew out. Auckland sends up Campbell and Oka, Reece Sevens, then top of the shop, Bradley Bennett again. Mark, I want to ask a question about a change we've seen at the NFC this year, going to the pitching block.
Yes. The question that we're using it? Well, what we're seeing is we go to international events and our pitchers have to throw off the block, and they're not used to it. So the more that we can implement it here, we've got multi-purpose facilities. So we've got councils helping look after grounds. We've traditionally had mats over the years, which is great, from a maintenance point of view, I suppose. But we've just got to get our pitchers pitching off the block more. Although it's great we've got it on this diamond. It's one diamond. It's one more than what we've had. But I would dearly love to see more of our main diamonds around the country having the block so the pitchers get used to throwing off it. I mean, I think that's probably, I'm probably safe saying that Roman is the same with the White Sox as well.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Well, we've seen the rise of some of the pitching stars around the world, especially the South Americans. They're just used to throwing off that block, aren't they? So I guess initiative from obviously your international coaching staff and with Softball New Zealand, I'm glad to see that adaptation. I think it's well worth it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of that evolution. We used to have it, or revolution. Back in mine and Rick's day, it was there all the time. The mats were there when our parents were playing, and then through our generation, the block was there. But we've gone back to the mats again, and I think it's just time for the block to sort of work its way back in. I think we had a little bit of resistance at the start of the week, guys getting used to it, but we're fairly fortunate with the quality of facility that we have here that they're able to get this amount of games going through and not have too much wear and tear.
Yeah, we spoke not just about the block, we spoke about earlier in the commentary with regard to the strike zone. And it's been adjusted. I'll morph into another question. We could be here till 10 o'clock at night once the game's finished. Hopefully they go triple tiebreaker. But there have been adjustments made with the international strike zone. I did voice a bit of an opinion after the Junior World Series last year that our zone seems to be different than the international zone, which hurts our pitchers and hurts our hitters. So it's not advantageous to our game. So, but I'll come along to you had a Black Sox camp 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I obviously employ a couple of guys that were at the camp, and I know a lot of guys from the club, and I got really, really good feedback about that camp. And a couple of things were, it wasn't just don't bring your gloves, bring your shoes, and we're going to flog you, and we're going to carry poles around a forest and sleep out all night and team building, but a lot of it was about mental strength. There was some teamwork stuff and leadership, who was accountable and stuff like that. But also you had Mark Porteous. He was in there for probably 2 or 3 hours and some, we'll call it robust conversation, but honest conversation and dialogue's been opened up between the umpires and the senior players as to this is what both sides want, and this is what's going to be better for our game, because at the end of the day, umpires are still in our game. They're part of our game. They're just like a coach, just like a player, just like a scorer, a parent. They're part of our game, and I think for too long they've isolated themselves from the players and senior management and the Black Sox and stuff like that. But I heard good feedback from that, and plus also good feedback from the overall camp. So.
That's cool. Thanks, Rick. I mean, we put a lot of time into the planning to, the time of year. There's no point in us hitting ground balls and hitting fly balls to the guys. There's no benefit that we can add there. So we looked at areas that we felt we needed some improvement from Prague, and that's management as well as players. So we were partaking in the mental skills drills as well. But also one of the areas that that I personally felt we needed some improvement was on pitch recognition. We had a high percentage of called strikes in Prague than what we had swinging strikes. So for me, that's about recognition of strikes and also the zone. And it's sort of come about through a similar discussion I think you and I had a while back. I watched the Fastball 45 competition, had some similar concerns, so spoke to Roman, reached out to Porty, and we had a meeting up here for during the finals, and really productive, constructive meeting. And from it, I just had the idea and thought, well, I'm only one person. It'd be great to open up some dialogue with our guys. How do you feel about coming to the camp? And Porty, to his credit, at first he was taken back, but then it was like...
Tag play. Sorry, Mark. Exceptional ripper down the third baseline. He makes the tag and doubles Auckland here in the innings. Good idea, though, you were saying about bringing in...
Yeah, so it's just really about open up lines of communication. And the great thing, Porty did a presentation, and part of it was he did a test, and there were 8 pitches in the strike zone at different parts of the strike zone, and we had the guys in groups where they had to compete at various challenges throughout the event, and they had to mark themselves on where that pitch was, and it was interesting that out of the 8 pitches, I think the best team that didn't lie got about 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the discussion that he came in at a really tough time because it was after we'd done fitness testing. So the guys were a little bit, testing is an important part of improvement and measuring and going forward. So he first came in and the guys are kind of slouching back on the chairs. Yeah, but then within 5 minutes they were up on the edge of their seat, and guys, as you say, it was actually a really cool session, and one of the most interactive that I've seen in my time, whether it be as a player or as a coach. But the best part was it opened up some dialogue, and hopefully we can have it more often. Part of the next step of that is that when we did our softball session, we only ran for an hour and a half, and to extend that pitch recognition, we had the pitchers going through some drills and working out, and we adapted the plate and had it into different colour zones, and we wanted to make the guys track the ball and tell me where it was.
Bang, bang, play. Where was that? Woo! Close at first base. The umpire's having to step up here.
And one of the guys had to go behind the plate.
Really?
Yeah, so we had an umpire and a batter, and our guys are umpiring. So out of that discussion with Porty, I encouraged our guys to get out and umpire. Get behind the mask, because we're all, as players, we're all pretty quick to fly from the lip.
Yeah.
Right, but when you get behind the mask, and the interesting thing, we had a different colour-coded plate. The hitter often saw a different colour than what the guy behind the plate umpiring saw.
Wow.
So they weren't all in agreement. So it opened up some discussion there as well. So, I'd certainly, maybe at the next camp we organise to do some umpiring.
Yeah.
It's an important part of our game, Rick, as you said.
Yeah.
And to see guys of the calibre of being in the Black Sox out there umpiring and helping, whether it be juniors, under 18s, what it may be, can only be beneficial, from a number of, from socially for the sport, but also for personal development. Because I did a bit when I was playing, and I know in the beginning I was missing pitches right down the middle, and because of who I was, no one was questioning me. Go, yeah, good call. But as soon as I became accountable to the players, once they got more comfortable, I found it more beneficial, because you had to react to what you saw.
Yeah, we do that at our club. A lot of our juniors umpire just to help out the parent coaches or whatever. But for me, I was a scondor when I was young.
Yeah, mate, I was there as well.
Yeah. But once you go away and umpire, you realise that they're just human. They're not trying to cheat you. They're just calling it as they see it. And it makes a big difference in the understanding of what these guys are. But I think with Porty coming in, it brings a human element to it. Like, he's not just a robot back there. He's not an MLB umpire that's earning a lot of money every year, and that's all he does. And you can put a little rectangle up on a screen, and they're pretty close to it. That he makes mistakes, but from an umpire's point of view, you can say to Cole Evans, well, you make errors. you pop up.
Well, we swing and miss.
Yeah, we swing and miss.
We swing and miss.
Exactly.
And
so
does the umpire jump all over us when that happens?
Yeah.
Swing on that.
Exactly. So I thought that was a good initiative from you and your team, but also, as I say, I got really good feedback from the guys that I know that went to the camp. That was a different camp, a totally different camp than they've ever been involved with, and it's great that you're taking lessons from Prague, because Prague wasn't hugely successful, and it's great that we own that, as a sport, and you as a management and the Black Sox as a unit own that, and it's that if you keep doing what you do, you keep getting what you got.
So that's a definition of insanity, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we look at something different? And you've got with high performance sport, you've got some good people there and processes that you can use, and they're encouraging you to use it. Some things may be outside the square, but sometimes outside the square might be good for you.
Well, we also had a nutritionist there, and we've always had these people come in and they do a nice talk and they show you slides and stuff, but it doesn't really sink in for everyone. And so we changed it a little bit, and that Elliot, who ran the sessions, had a couple of sessions, but then he set up a MasterChef challenge, right? So the guys in their groups had to cook a meal off the schedule that he provided, and it was a breakfast, and they had to do it for their own team, so there's 6 members in a team, and they had 2 management that they had to cook for. And at the end of it, the 2 management and Elliot, the nutritionist, scored it. Right. So there were some fantastic meals, eh? I've got to tell you. And the breakfasts were really great. The guys put a lot of time and effort in it.
Oh, fantastic indeed. Wow, what a play. Cole Evans, because obviously we've moved into the bottom of the 4th innings here. Tyson Boyan, the lead-off batter for Wellington, go Dylan Jackson and Jaden Stratford. Lucky for us, we've got Mark Sorensen here, guest in the booth, head coach for the Golden Homes Black Sox. Mark, I know you're busy. Just one last question. What is next for the Black Sox?
Will depend on what happens with our funding application for high performance sport. But we got fitness testing at the end of the season. So after the clubs in March, we will do a round of fitness testing, so the guys are aware that this was happening. We'll name a training squad for the winter months. We'll set up regional get-togethers that won't be compulsory. People have other challenges and stuff, but we'll get regular regional get-togethers. And the plan is that we, for February next year, is that we're having a camp in October, and we're looking to replicate. We're not likely to have any international competition. We're looking to replicate international competition within our own group. If we happen to have a Trans-Tasman bubble and we get the support that we're looking for with funding, we might try and set something up with Australia. Maybe go up to the Brisbane area, better weather, and you're more guaranteed that time of year, so we can get some games. Because the last thing I want is, if we've got new guys, to have their first game for the Black Sox in a World Series. It will happen, it does happen, it has happened, but if we have an opportunity to give them an opportunity to play ahead of that, I'd really like to grasp it.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you very much, Mark Sorensen, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Golden Homes Black Sox, for your time. You're very generous with your time. Thank you. We wish you and the Black Sox, with all of your management, and of course Ricky, really, boy oh boy, they are putting a lot into their planning, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and to their credit, as I say, they got some learnings. They did a big debrief after Prague, because it's not one of our better results for the last 20 years. And the first thing you do is you got to own it and accept that it's not acceptable. That's not what we want. Not as a sport. We don't accept that. And go away and make some changes. And they've made some changes to a few of the squad. They've culled a few, brought a few young and enthusiastic guys in, and trying to change the culture a little bit to have some guys that, like you say, are desperate to be there, and those guys that want to work that little bit harder.
Well, I tell you what, during that conversation with Mark, it's not so hard to get away from him, to be fair, because it's so interesting to get that inside information. A lot has happened here. The game has moved rather quick now. Wellington retired in order here in the bottom of the 4th innings, but we'll be back with all the action They will continue this major semi-final, Auckland-Wellington. Auckland with the lead by 2, 3-1.
G'day, my name's Brent Mulholland. I'm the Managing Director of ELE. I guess what makes ELE quite different from others is all of our people have a technical and management skill set in the sectors that we operate. So ELE as a business operates in the civil, transport, construction, engineering and oil and gas sectors. We have branches in Christchurch, Wellington, Auckland, Hawke's Bay and New Plymouth. And we engage approximately 500 workers on any given day. So if you're a client looking for great staff for your business, we've got people that can help. We're easy to work with, non-corporate, and we like to think we just keep it real.
I'm Richard Leach from Higgins Contractors Wellington. My role with Higgins is
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium here, to the Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship. Hurrid Haring from Diamond 2 will give you updates on where that one is. North Harbour, we're leading 1-0, but there looks to be a change here. Cole Evans off the light stand in left field. Pumps in the 4th run for Auckland.
Well, he's just come up and made a nice bare hand play at shortstop, and the Black Sox captain comes out and takes a big hack at the first pitch from Davey Rogers to extend the lead out to 3. 4 runs to 3.
Wellington 1.
Cole Evans having himself a massive NFC here. 5 home runs in 3 days. Guy is insane at the moment, to be fair. Just give you a rundown on how the situation is for the ladies at this point, with 1 round robin match left for each of the teams in the ladies section. And then only the top 2 will go to the grand final. Well, Auckland have secured it by the looks on 27 points. But Hutt Valley and Wellington are fighting off for the next spot, 25 and 22 points, and they'll play each other tomorrow. So basically Hutt Valley and Wellington is semi-final in the morning.
Yeah, it's all going in the ladies competition, and they play a double round robin, a straight final.
Yeah.
So you got to be playing good all week to try and be 1-2. No finishing 3, because you're not going to get a chance at winning the championship. So
Auckland with the spoils in 2021 in Lower Hutt, looking to double that up. Don't have the star pitcher this time round, so having to play a bit like Wellington, more of a team play.
Yeah, I was actually just having a really good conversation with Jamie Breer, the Auckland coach, just before I come into the commentary tonight.
Just can't quite get that one down. That's Dan saying, go on, boy. As young Early just pops that one up.
And he sort of talked on the same thing. He said, if he had Gretchen Orcoin here, he's, a hot chance of winning the tournament. He said, but he's actually enjoying having to coach the team really hard, and they're playing tough. And he said, if they can get the job done, it's going to be one of the more rewarding coaching efforts he's had in his career.
Big swing of the first pitch here from Connor Peden. Considered a ball game in the 3rd innings for Nathan Nukunuku. The designated player spot. Walked back in the 3rd.
Yeah, and Connor Peden, who stays in the game for Coach Nathan Nukunuku, or player Coach Nukunuku. So, Nathan showing good confidence in Connor. Thank you, my darling, for bringing me a water.
There you get Early. Always with a smile on her face, willing to be of service.
She's got herself a water as well, so don't worry, she's not going to
dehydrate.
You're not going to dehydrate.
On the men's side of things, we know Auckland and Wellington finished 1-2, and North Harbour and Canterbury finishing 3 and 4. So that's why they're playing in the other semi-final. We'll give you an update on that game. Finishing 5 after the round robin was Hutt Valley tough. They had a couple of big games today.
Had a couple of tough games today. Lost in the 7th to North Harbour, and then lost by a run to Wellington. So they were there or thereabouts.
They were.
Yeah, it was a tough day for them today.
Hawke's Bay put up that good effort against Auckland. They finished in the 6th spot. 7 was Southern Pride. Counties Manukau will play them. So they'll be playing grading games tomorrow, those teams outside of the top 4. Three balls and 1 strike to Connor Peden here. Just the one away with Ben Anoka on at first base. And Rogers can't control the rise balls. It just pops a little high here.
Peden will make his way
Connor Peden doing a good job, picks up another couple of walks. So he's controlling his zone real well, which as I say is good for Connor because he's an extremely aggressive hitter, likes to swing the bat, but when he controls the zone, lets the ball travel that little bit more, he's even more dangerous, and it brings a dangerous hitter in Tommy Anoka to the plate with runners on 1 and 2.
Question for you, Ricky. There's Anoka, Thomas. Watches this one. I like that. I like that. Sorry, that was the
little lob back.
Oh, power swing. That's the flip this. Just lost power.
That one.
Is it, what about the cord there? Nothing? Is that plugged in?
This one's in, this one's
in.
This one's in.
Just turn that off and on at the. Here it comes.
We're back. Is there an electrician in the house? Oh no, they're all out on the field.
Yeah, I tell you what, with the NFCs on, Ricky, your electrical business must not make a hell of a lot of money because they're all out playing softball.
Exactly. There's only one guy working hard in the business this week, and it's me.
Sometimes the boss has got to cover for the crew. Just make sure the audio's up nicely for you. Looks like it is. Here we are. Short power cut. I think.
You had a tough question for me, Chopper. What was that? Hopefully it's not relationship advice.
No, it's how do you stop Will Bookerjohn from standing on the power cord? That's what it was going to be.
Oh, is that his name? I thought he was anonymous from Southland from the other night.
Hard in ball. Will the wind stop it? They'll hope for that, and it does. Knock it down. And in Wellington's favour, boy, if that had left the yard, that would have really put a spanner in the works here for the Wellington side. They will go coast to coast, though. The Auckland base runners with 2 outs. And Campbell Noak will get a chance to see if he can't punch some more numbers on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that was a hard hit ball from Tommy Anoka, right into the teeth of the breeze. You can see the 3 flags right in centre field blowing straight in here, right on the screws. But comfortably inside the fence, Damon Greasy gets that ball.
My question to you, the tough question to you was, David Rogers has gone the whole way so far, given up 4 runs. Here we are now in the top of the 5th innings. Riley Markey, arguably the ace on the squad, hasn't seen the mound yet in this major semi-final. When does he get an opportunity, or do they save him to try and come through the back door?
Yeah, I think that they probably hope Davey can get through this inning, and then if they can get a run in the bottom half, a run or 2 in the bottom half, keep themselves in it, then we'll see Riley. Otherwise, if Auckland can score 1 or 2 here, they probably put up the shutters and go for tomorrow, where they've got to get through 2 games to get to win the final.
It's a tough one, though. It's a double-edged sword. We saw this Mark Sorensen asked him the same question. Boy, it was in 2017 after they used the ace pitcher when they were down against Canada at the World Cup by about 5 or 6 runs by this. Might have been more, 7 runs at this point. And they brought Nick Hayes in off the bench, and the fellow commentary partner of mine was like, "You're just wasting bullets. You should save him for the final." Mark Sorensen said, how did that work out for Canada? Because they came back and beat Canada. So Wellington, I don't know if you can save yourself for the final. I think you've got to get to the final first.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Chop. I think if your focus is on winning this tournament, then you've got to. Wellington's best chance is a 1-game day tomorrow.
Yes.
I think because we've harped on about it, because JP's not here, they haven't got their frontline ace. Davey Rogers and Riley and Dylan Jackson to some extent, getting through the 2 games is going to be tough tomorrow. That's where this game puts you in the box seat. Auckland are a little bit different because they've got Tane Slaughter and Liam Twigden sitting there as well that can do that job.
They do, but the score is only 3 runs the difference here. If they convert another run here, then it's like you were thinking. Do you think about not wasting the pitcher? So it's tough, and there it is, right through the 5-6 hole. And to be fair, Wayne Stoddard, the head coach of Wellington, he's probably forgotten more softball than I know. And he's got a plan and an idea around it, but it's hard to know, how when you should use them, when you shouldn't use.
I think the question's probably been answered because Riley hasn't been out in the bullpen all game. See, he's out in left field. If they were contemplating that, they would have brought the designated player into the field and got Riley off so he can still stay in the hitting lineup and let him warm up. So I think they're going to go with David all night. And if anything happens, they may bring Dylan Jackson in just to shut it out.
First pitch is good from Rogers, finding the range on the outside edge here. Reese Evans. Two away here though for Wellington, just trying to squeak that last out.
Reese Evans been in really good form this year, Chop.
Hasn't he?
He had an exceptional Vic Youth tournament. Unfortunately for him, he's in the shadow of a superstar brother, but he doesn't get the credit he actually deserves. He's, for our Ramblers team, he's a huge part of that. He's the emotional leader of that team.
Right.
And he's sitting in the 9th spot. He doesn't care. He's not beating his chest saying, "I want to hit 4 or 5." He'll hit in the 9th spot. He'll hit in the 1 spot, in the 5 spot, wherever he's got it, whatever he's got to do. But he's had a great year.
Inside, trying to back Evans off the plate here. Almost cuts him in half, to be fair. 3-1 though, he's rewarded with a hitter's count.
Takes count to 3 balls and 1 strike.
Down.
Strike called, hitting the zone.
Managed to fill up the count now against Evans.
Have a little shout out to Reese's dad, Clive. He's gone to Speedway tonight.
Is he?
Reese and Cole and Brock, father Clive. He'll be at Speedway with Dave Pearden, Connor's father. They're big fans, so clash with them tonight.
Inside out swing, looking to try to push it down the line here. And you've got to be careful though, Auckland, when they get a whiff.
Oh, hang on, Chopper. So we just gave a shout out to Clive Evans, and Lindley Evans has just delivered us some nice muffins. So Clive, unfortunately, grab yourself a hot dog at Speedway, buddy. We're eating all the muffins. You got none of those left for tomorrow.
I don't know. It took you about a split second to make a decision to dive into that container and grab a muffin.
Exactly. I'll wash it down with the water I just got from my wife before.
Great idea. Fantastic. Full count here on Reese Evans. Son of the cupcake maker. Pushing it straight to centre field though. And they will take the out. The bleeding will stop here in the top of the 5th innings, but not before they convert to Kamalanoka. Professional at bat as well. And now Auckland with a margin of 4, 5 runs to 1. When we come back in the bottom of the 5th, Wellington will need to gear up somehow. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LA Sports Stadium here. And we're making sure that everything's intact around the place. Wellington will need to get intact themselves here. It's been a very hard-fought battle here against Auckland. Auckland have showed their prowess with a run in the first on the back of 2 walks, to be honest. The same in the third, a couple of walks, but then a big hit from Ben Anoka that drives in 2. Then they score another 2 runs in the top of the 5th innings. They're commanding 5-1 lead. Wellington did get 1 run that was back off Riley Markier's bat in the 3rd innings, so they have replied, but they're going to try now and ask Joel Harris to step in for Damon Creasy, Zach Boyd, then top of the shop, Dante Matakatia.
Yeah, Joel, powerful hitter. Having a not a high batting average week by his standard, but one swing of the bat can change that for Joel.
Big swing here. We have an update from Diamond 2, bottom of the 6th innings. North Harbour are leading the ball game 2-0. Pitarona with a big home run over 2 fences in the bottom of the 3rd innings. And then Brad Rona drives in Kyan Mahani in the bottom of the 5th. So a good lead there over the Red Sox. Remember, the winner of that one, as Harris goes down on strikes, will play the loser of this match at 11 a.m. tomorrow on Diamond 2 to see who will face the winner in the grand final at 2 p.m. live on Sky Sport.
Yeah, looking forward to a big day tomorrow, Chop. I think going to see some excellent softball, both in the men's and the women's side of the game. And you've got some good viewing on Sky Sport tomorrow.
The home sport, Sky Sport, and off and running to the races. And it works a charm for Zach Boyd. I think there's a couple of things about that, Ricky. Not his pace was excellent, of course, for Boyd, but he made Chapman pick up the ball.
Yeah. If you're going to do the running bunt, the best person you get it to is the pitcher, because they're off balance. You know, Chapman's coming out of some footholes and all that sort of stuff. If that goes to third base or first base, you've got Reese Evans or Seth Gibson, 2 of the best corners in the game. But Zach's got great speed. That's just what the team needed.
Wellington need their top of the shop to really fire for them here. They have any hope in this one. We're getting deep in the game, as you can see, bottom of the 5th innings. Big swing. And it looks like North Harbour's done it again. In the bottom of the 6th innings,
1 ball, 1 strike.
Jerome Hedatuku, leading off for the North Harbour, has blasted one out of the park. So 2 home runs from the home side. Really asking the questions of the Red Sox over there on Diamond 2. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, Ricky, you've got to get to ELE Sports Stadium tomorrow. It's going to be outstanding, whoever makes the first semi and then the 2 finals.
Oh, it's all go. It's all go. The hottest teams are going to come through, and you know, the team that loses this game is going to have a team coming through like North Harbour with great momentum.
Right.
Auckland look in control, to be honest with you, in this semi-final here. But one thing we do know is Wellington. They're a gritty team at the top of the order now. They have good coaching staff. And Warren Studdard and Gene Robinson.
Right.
If anyone's going to have a chance to come back at Auckland, it has got to be the Wellington.
Oh, you've got to go in the batter's box, hit a double last time, Dante Matakatia, and then Jerome Ramaki up next. So, you know, there's plenty of quality there, and they can come back to into this game very, very easily.
Drop ball is good out of Chapman. Not just dipping, but cutting inside of Matakatia's bat as he French cuts that one.
The big innings here for Chapman. You know, runner on second base,
right.
1 out. Just coming off a couple of runs for Auckland. Try and you know, stop any momentum that Canterbury are trying to gain. Oh, sorry, Wellington.
Ricky, question for you. Now, I know you've actually won quite a few of these national Fastpitch championships because I've seen you in the highlights all the last month.
Oh, thanks for those, Will, but the one from Christchurch I didn't need.
Tell me, with your experience mind, and not just as a player, but especially as a coach, what would your thoughts or what would your advice strategy-wise be for Wellington here 4 runs down at the bottom of the 5th.
Oh, you just got to keep, whether you win or lose the game, even if you lose the game, you've got to try and create some momentum so you're taking positivity into tomorrow's game, because tomorrow's the winner of the 3v4 against the loser of the 1v2. It's an emotional game because one team's coming through all hype, like North Harbour. It's looking like North Harbour might be coming off a big game tonight.
Yeah.
And you've got to pick. If you're coming off a loss, you don't want to be picking yourself up off a loss that's been really tough on the team psychologically and mentally. So even if it ends up 5-3 and they've come with a couple of runs late, they take that positivity. They forget about the 5 and they take the positivity of the 3 into tomorrow's game.
Manakatia on the back of one. The wind won't let that go out, but it'd be deep enough for a sacrifice fly and move the runner to third base.
That's a big out for Chapman and Auckland, even though the runner advances across to third. As you get late in the game, outs are very important, especially when you've got a 4-run lead. You'll even here, you give up a run for an out if you need to, even though there's 2 outs now. But outs become hugely important, and with the wind blowing in, keep the ball in the yard and try and limit the exposure. If you're going to give up 1 in the 5th, that's okay. But if you give up 2 or 3, that's game changing.
Well, if there was ever a time for a dream that Omaki to have one of his explosive, powerful at-bats, it's right now for Wellington in the bottom of the 5th innings. 60 feet away is their second run. 240 feet away is their third. Omaki trying to make the third right there.
And that's the thing, when, again, the later in the game you get, the mentality of the hitters change. And when you're chasing 4 runs, that's a home run swing. If it's 1-0, he's changing that swing just for a single.
This one in the dirt. And Boyd will come in, and Wellington do get their second run here, so they do inch their way back into the leaderboard. 5 runs to 2 now.
And the drop ball just dips in front of catcher early there. Comes off the plate and just jumps up off the palm.
2 balls, 1 strike.
But just got to focus here for Chapman. Let's just try and get out the innings. We're giving up 1. That's okay. We can do with giving up 1, but we don't want to give up any more. So you've got to be careful, especially with the power of Raimaki here.
You talk about positivity and getting on a roll, and maybe that is North Harbour right now over there on Diamond 3, as they've got their third run in the bottom of the 6 innings. But Wellington's one of those teams too, isn't it? When their couple of bats string together, they seem to get on a roll. They're up on the fence even when they're down by 3, but once they string something together, they go crazy.
Well, there's not a couple of bats, there's 9.
Yeah.
And if they get their confidence up, it doesn't matter who. I could go out and pitch for them, and they're a huge chance of winning.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same with the Auckland team, with the 1 through 9 or 1 through 12 in their order. If they get on a roll, they're unstoppable. They can put 10 or 12 on any team here in a blink of the eye.
Well, that's what they'll be looking for. Blink once or twice, 3 or 4 really.
It's a big pitch right now.
It is.
I think it is. It's not going to change the game, but I think it's a big pitch. You challenge the best hitter in their team.
Sends a signal, doesn't it? And he misses outside, and you see him shaking his head. He's not happy about that, no. Chapman.
No, Chapman's not happy. He wanted to take on the challenge there.
Yeah.
And then you arguably be the next best hitter, or equally the best hitter in the side, Riley Markia.
I'll tell you the one thing with Chapman, it was a drop ball on the outside that he missed. He just loves beating hitters with his hard rise ball. And probably deep inside, he just wanted to blow a rise ball past the Omaki. However, Omaki eats rise balls for breakfast, and that's probably the only reason why he went with a drop ball. So, there's his rise ball. Look at that. On song, with power, 120 kilometres an hour, right at Riley Markia.
He good velocity. That means he's got a nice rhythm going.
Yeah. Markia. Mixed bag today as he drives one to first base, and that'll nullify the threat of Ramaki on the base pass, but it's not before they pick up an RBI on a pass ball with Ramaki at the dish. Wellington.
That's a hard hit ball that Seth Gibson made look easy.
Oh yeah.
And that take nothing away from Riley Markia. That was a ball on the outside of the plate that he hit the ball hard the other way, but Seth Gibson just made that look easy.
Well, nothing easy about making the grand final at the moment. Auckland have got a tippy toe in there already. We'll find out if three's enough or if they can add to the rest of their scoring. When we come back here in the major semi-final of the Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship.
They say your home is where your heart is. I know my home is here with you. There's a world to behold. It's a better home you own with Golden Home.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the sixth innings. Auckland with a lead here. And we've got some substitutions being made defensively for one. Let's peer in and have a listen. As soon as Mark Portis gets it down.
out, 16 in. He's going to position 9. And 14 in the 6th spot is going to position 1.
Nice and simple. One change, David Rogers comes out of the ball
got the
game.
re-entry, yes. Yeah. All right, all good? Yes. Thank you.
David Rogers, the starting pitcher, comes out of the ball game. And he'll be replaced. Mark Portis says it's dark over there. He'll be replaced by Andre Hardy. He'll go out to right field. And Dylan Jackson, who is at right field, will come in and take over the pitching duties.
Yeah, it's a little bit what we're talking about in the last innings, Chop. Just how they're going to attack this. So obviously get David Rogers out, let him rest up for tomorrow. I think if they've got 1 or 2 more runs, I think Riley Markia comes in.
Well, it's a big difference. Dylan Jackson comes into this ball game with an ERA of 11.76. Riley Markia, the ace, 1.25. So it is a clear signal of maybe what Wellington's intentions are. 8.1 innings of work, though, for Dylan Jackson. So he has had a bit of time on the mound.
Yeah, and he's competitive. DJ's extremely competitive, and he mixes it up. He's got a good change. He'll be there or thereabouts, and he's just looking for some ground balls and some fly balls to try and keep his team close. Here's the change right there on Bradley Bennett.
Top of the shop here for Auckland. 4th time through the order, so not a bad time to change the pitcher, that's for sure. Bradley Bennett, Zeth Gibson and Cole Evans.
That's a good point, Chop. I think no coincidence. Yeah. It's the top of the order. They've all seen David Rogers 3 times. Yeah. Let's try something different here. And I see Coach Nukunuku's made a change with the on-deck batter. It looks like Alphonse Ovanakovas is going to hit for Seth Gibson. So he's going to make a couple of changes of his own.
And Dylan Jackson comes in and gets the job done.
Yeah,
First batter he faces.
Something different. Gets Bradley Bennett swinging at the low one. And in comes Alphonse Ovanakovas.
You mentioned coming in to hit for Zeth Gibson. We'll see if he stays in the ball game. And they go pick out defensively in the bottom of the 6th innings. Dylan Jackson, just a different kind of action. You know, we're talking about mixing up the pace, but also a right-handed pitcher versus a left, so it's a change anyway.
Yeah, and also just making the hitters create the power. You know, he's not bringing the ball on the batters hard, so they're making them swing harder. And yeah, same thing, Dylan's smart enough to know that he's not going to blow it by these guys, so he's going to use his variety, he's going to use the location and the different pitches he has.
Well, we'll get an update from Diamond 2. Canterbury Red Sox are not dead. Josh Dixon drives in Callum Bishop at the top of the 7th inning. Score now 3 runs to 1 to North Harbour. 1 out over there.
Ball.
And
we're going to ask our technical director, is Pitarona thrown the whole game for? He's gone the distance, so that groin injury must be good for him.
Yeah, 98 pitches, sorry, 98 pitches, 74 strikes, so he's been aggressive from the mound.
Yeah, and that's a good sign for North Harbour if they've got him and Eru fit and well for tomorrow. That's going to be good for them, getting through a couple of games. Also Blake Bradford there as well, so they've got three chuckers in their artillery.
They sure do indeed. Alphonse Anavikovis with his walk down to first base brings up Cole Evans now. He's had a tough day at the office, 2 walks and a home run.
Yeah, he's struggling. He'll be disappointed. He'll go and have a good think to himself tonight about his game.
It's that counts of 2 balls, 1 strike.
Sits back on the change-up, and there's trouble too.
Him, yeah.
Look at him go. Turbocharge the legs of Venikovis. Evans trying to catch him. He'll slide into 3 easily as Auckland peg on another run here. 6 runs to 2.
And that was a good adjustment from Cole Evans. Like he let the ball travel there and let the ball get through the zone and drove the ball to right field. It was a tough play for Andre Hart because it was always going away from him. Off the bat, it looked like he was struggling because with that hit to right field, just kept tailing away from him. So easy triple there and scoring the run of Venikovis from first base.
Cole Evans, as I mentioned, after day 2 was sitting second on the batting stats after Brad Rona. Well, I think after day 3, even he might surpass the legend.
On the game over on Diamond 2, there's a fair bit.
Yeah, looks like we have the final score from Diamond 2. It'll be North Harbour that'll make the semi-final. Canterbury, gallant effort though, 6 hits to 4 to Canterbury. Unfortunately, then 2 errors to them as well. So North Harbour, the back of Pitarona, going home. And Amaki trying to keep the score closer. No chance of getting it home, to be fair. But over there, North Harbour, the bat of Pitarona and Jerome Hedatuku blasting it out of the ballpark, and Brad Runner turning back the clock to drive in. Kyan Mahadi does the difference there for North Harbour. So they will wait for the loser of this one. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, as you mentioned, Ricky.
Yeah, they're repeating from last year. They beat Hutt Valley in the 3v4 game on the Saturday night. So they ended up going through and making the final.
They did. I never got to see the game. Titanic battle, I understand, on Championship Sunday morning in that semi-final against Auckland.
I was there at the game, and it was a to and fro affair. But North Harbour coming through right in the piece. Might have been tiebreaker actually.
Yeah.
Got it really deep. Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, though, I think Auckland took all of the gas in, and they tried their darndest against Wellington in the final, but it was one-sided in the end. They just batted their way past North Harbour in the final last year.
Wellington were a team on a mission last year.
Oh, yeah.
They hadn't won it for 10 years, and it shocked me when the news reports came out that they hadn't won it for 10 years, and it's like, well, Wellington always win every few years, but Coach Stoddart had them on a mission last year.
You want to know why it's taken 10 years, Ricky? It's because you've been too greedy, winning too many titles within those 10 years. That's why. But it has shown, though, the NFC has been dominated by Auckland over a good period of time. And this one is shaping up for them to maybe dominate this one as well. We'll find out, though, tomorrow. And they're going to get to the final yet, of course. Not saying Wellington's done and dusted, but boy, Auckland have looked good this week.
Yeah, stranger things have happened. Sport's a funny thing, and I've been involved with many teams that are looking like a lay down brazier.
Yeah.
But teams come out, especially those teams coming through in the morning with that extra game. And as a coach, I hate sitting and waiting. Hate being in the final and sitting and waiting for a team to come through that may come off a big win, and their bats are on fire and their pitch is going well. Kind of beat him with a line drive to left field. Drives in Beninoka. So kind of beat him with a couple of walks and picks up a big hit there. So again, a man carrying some confidence in tomorrow as well.
You can see the Aucklanders have found their range here. Replacement pitcher Dylan Jackson started well with that strikeout, but then the walk to Vinny Kovis has opened the wounds a little. Back-to-back hits. Evans, Unoka early, Peden. Really putting the foot down here in the top of the 6th innings.
Oh,
Great play.
Nice play, Dante Matakatia. That's a run. That gets through. It's a run to right field.
Time. Temporary runner, 20. It's great. Yep.
Tommy Unoka will go out to third base and run for Max early with a 2-out catcher rule.
Yeah, Auckland have picked up 3 runs here in the top of the 6th innings. So 8 runs to 2 now.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Dave.
On second, 2 out.
8 hits to 3-2. They have definitely got the wood. Just kind of inched their way through the match, Auckland. But in the later innings here, 5th and 6th, just putting on a bit of a masterclass.
Yeah, just getting the job done. Runners in scoring position, just executing well, not going for the big hits.
Pick off the 3. Back in time as the ball bobbles just a little. Wellington, to be fair, Auckland's had a couple of decent 2-down rallies at times through this match, Ricky.
And those are the big ones, Chop. When you get a strikeout or a pop-up, you get you out of the innings, but you as a hitter, you're battling through, and those are the ones that really hurt you as a defensive team.
1-1.
Cameron Unoka, another one having a tough day today. 2 walks, RBI single to left field. Gets on the back of this one. We need a diving play, and a diving play is what you'll get. Riley Mark here makes a spectacular catch in the distance at left field there to nullify the threat from Auckland, but not before they post up 3 big ones here in the top of the 6th innings. Cole Evans converting early again. Boy, oh boy, Auckland are marching at this point. 8 runs to 2. We'll be back in the bottom of the 6th with more action.
Your ideas, your plans, your vision for your dream home. At Golden Homes, we work with you to create a home you'll love living in. With total design flexibility, our exclusive gold standard building system, and Zog steel framing proven to withstand magnitude 9 earthquake activity, your new Golden Home will have all the strength, comfort and sophistication.
Big Wayne Laulu looking to answer right back here for the Wellingtonians. Down by 6 here late in the ball game, bottom of the 6th innings. And he'll be followed up by Tyson Byrne and Dylan Jackson here at 1, 2, 3. And anyone who can spark this team into life, it's got to be big Wayne Laulu.
Yeah, he's the emotional leader of any team he's involved in, isn't he, Wayne? On and off the field, he's a lovely bloke. Life of the party, but super competitive man.
Kind heart, fearsome in the batter's box, jovial on the base pass. He's the full package, is Wayne Laulu. And doesn't want a single thing to do with them. 4 straight balls, he'll head down to first base.
I reckon if you want to go for a beer in Wellington and walk into any bar, you're walking behind Wayne Laulu. Doesn't matter if there's a line anywhere, you walk straight in. He knows everyone.
He does.
Just a rumour I've heard.
Yeah.
Just a rumour I've heard.
Good rumour too, I'm told. Tyson Byrne. Grounded out to second and shortstop today. Put the ball in play though.
It's sort of the same. Also, you talk about Wellington coming through and getting momentum. Auckland want to finish this game off strong as well.
Yeah.
Chapman as well. You know, they want to have a soft ending to this. They want to put a bit of an exclamation mark on this game. So Chapman will be looking to work really hard in this inning.
We know Wellington will get 2 shots in the cherry here. The bottom of the 6th and then the bottom of the 7th. So I guess as you were saying, for just be methodical. Know it's 6 runs, but pick up a couple at a time. And the only thing they're going to have to do, they're going to stop leaking runs.
Yeah.
Right, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
1 and 2 to count here on Byrne. Leaves that one down and away.
Little scout till 2.
Yep.
And he swings over the top of that, nicks it.
And the
Young early behind the dish there. Max just cradles it in. I don't want to know where he cradled it. He kept that one from touching the ground.
Yeah, good job by Max there. Catching the drop ball that just clipped a little bit of Tyson Byrne. It's a big out.
Sure is indeed. Big batter is Tyson Byrne. 1 away now. Replacement pitcher Jackson. Hasn't been able to get it past second baseman Thomas Anoka tonight. Might try his luck the other way.
Huh.
Wayne Laulu back just in the nick of time. Early with a bit of a no-looker. I love that pick-off though.
Yeah, like catchers that throw it round. You know,
Yeah.
don't be scared of it. Stevie Dean, who's the coach of the Major Sox, the under-23s, is a big fan of that. Max went to camps with him, and he's like, "Pick guys off 3, pick guys off 1. Come on, boys."
Yeah.
But Stevie's enthusiasm is infectious, you know. And when he played, he certainly wasn't the biggest man on the field, including the bat boy. But boy, he gave 120% of every ounce he had in his body, and his enthusiasm, and that's the way he played the game. Nice play.
And Big Wayne has no luck here either. As that one just swells into the glove. Jackson again finds Thomas Anoka, and he's able to double off Laulu back at first base. Firm control of this one, Auckland. Top of the 7 coming up next, 8-2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you what, the DJ in the house, he's on fire here tonight and just spinning a tune that obviously makes everyone happy. I tell you who's happy though, it's Auckland. The way they've been playing this match from the batter's box, simply been outstanding. A masterclass, if you will. 1 run on the top of the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, the 5th and 3 in the 6th. Apologies for getting it wrong, which innings that came in, but they've scored in so many and it's been consistent. That's for sure. Ricky Early joining me in the booth. You've got to be impressed with the way Auckland's playing as well.
Oh, impressed with the way they played most of the week, but you've got to go on with it. You know, and that's the thing. And I think, you know, if the result ends up being similar to this, I think in their huddle afterwards, Coach Nuku will be saying, "Job's not done yet. We need to keep on building." I think they can get better, and he'll believe they can get better, and the team will know they can get better. So they're going to have to be better to win the championship tomorrow, no matter who they play. Whoever's coming through is going to come off a win, and they're going to be ready to go.
This one is down low. Just missing inside. Dylan Jackson, replacement pitcher, came in the top of the 6th innings. Saw 8 batters in that innings. 3 runs came in.
So am I right in assuming that Dylan was reclassified as a pitcher for Brad Worsley after day one? I believe Wellington were going for reclassification because you can only have 3 pitchers in your lineup. So
yes.
Riley was originally a pitcher with David Rogers and then Worsley.
Yes, and you did right, and you got to feel for Brad Worsley. You know, preparing all this time to get to the NFC, and here he was in the warm-up of the first game. Didn't even get to pitch in the game. Just listed as the starting pitcher in the warm-up, and then hurt his knee. And he'd already been feeling it. He was telling me over the last couple of tournaments, and didn't feel very well at all playing at the Vic Guth a couple of weeks ago here. And finally gave way on a meniscus, apparently, they tell me. Don't ask me how to spell that, I have no idea.
I got it knee.
But
don't ask me how to spell knee either.
But Dylan Jackson gets the call up. I tell you what, they did try, and this would have been interesting. They asked if they were able to bring in Thomas Mark here.
Oh, yes.
Fly him up from Wellington and.
From the retirement home.
Well,
you couldn't get the Zimmer frame on the plane. They wouldn't let him up.
That's the thing.
No disrespect, Thomas. No, just joking, mate.
Well, I tell you what, though, Thomas Markey's been pitching a lot this year, and Poniku Calburni, which is his club side, have needed an extra pitcher, and he has answered the call. And I spoke to him here at the Vic Guth just a couple of weeks ago. And he said, I've actually just found my rise ball again. So he's starting to enjoy it, even in his twilight years of playing.
And why not? Why not? All the time he's played, why not? Just enjoy it. He's playing it for the fun of it, and with his son, which also helps.
Hard hit ball here. Wendell knock it down into his son Marquez's glove. Well, to be fair though, when we watch Wellington play, we're used to seeing Thomas Markia in that lineup, if not leading off to DP in the latter years, didn't we?
Oh, it's like playing a North Harbour team without Brand Rodner.
Yeah.
So he's come back this year, and it's great to see him playing with his 2 sons. And it's the same old thing, Chops. Look, while you can, why won't you?
Yeah, exactly. And knocked down in front, can't quite gather Matakatia, but that was a hard hit ball.
And Cole Evers just keeps striking the ball well, even though it's a possible play. It was a really probably too hot to handle by Dante.
Unfortunately for Evans, it'll go down as an error. So his perfect game in the batter's box turns on its head, but I'm sure he's happy to trade a championship for it. Not saying they've won the championship, but they're heading that way tomorrow, that's for sure. 6-run lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th innings. Wellington will need everything they have got in the tank offensively to get a chance to try and make it straight to the final. We'll be back with the bottom of the 2nd in just a short moment.
He might not look like much in an apron, but that's John Miller, loving husband, relatively reliable plumber, and holder of the Bledisloe Cup and 2 Investex Super Rugby titles. Don't let the heels fool you. Wendy crushed 2 of the biggest names in men's tennis to go all the way at Wimbledon. Tony, one of New Zealand's most impressive multi-sport players. Try playing and taking out a Rugby League Grand Final, a Grand Slam, and the New Zealand Cup all at once. Mary Adams came from nothing to take Cleveland to the playoffs. Where to next? Well, she won the New Zealand Derby with Ginger Nuts. Finally, meet Richard Sykes, a man with many loves, 80s hip-hop, his dog Bark Twain, and winning, specifically, the Cup final at Wembley. Now it's your turn. TAB, now you're in the game.
Well, it's been a masterclass from Auckland offensively. Defensively, not too shabby as well. Wellington have punched a couple of runs on board today. One in the bottom of the third and one in the bottom of the fifth. So they do know how to score. And they're just going to have to do it 6 more times here in the bottom of the 7th innings. If they can do it, boy, it'll be one to remember.
Yeah, John Macaulay coming in to have a pinch hit for Jaden Stratford in the bottom half of the 7th, leading off the innings for Wellington.
Johnsonville representative goes at the first pitch. He's been itching to get out there, as you can see.
Let me at him. Come on, coach. I like that out of a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
You're out there to swing. I don't think any coach has ever said go out and get a walk. So go swing the bat, mate.
Especially because 9 times out of 10 when you get to first base, they go time and DR comes
yeah,
out.
Exactly.
Daniel Chapman's been good tonight. 95 pitches, 56 strikes. He's thrown in the ball game. Limited Wellington to just 3 hits. Macaulay hits one and it'll go foul deep down the right field line.
1 and 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Chapman, to be fair though, boy, he's been good this week. You can see just his presence on the mound when he's not afraid to go straight at the batters. He just rears back. 5 strikeouts, that's a 6-1 tonight.
And a big one the first out in the last innings. Always a big out.
First pitch. Greasy will be retired and Wellington will be down to their last out.
And Wellington down to their last out now. We've seen in number 5.
Zachary Boyd.
Zach Boyd.
Been a great fan of this young man for quite a while, to be honest with you, Ricky.
Yeah, another lovely young bloke, but a young man that works extremely hard on his game.
Yeah.
Has good speed, hits with power. As you saw, a nice running bunt before. He's got all the tools and a great infielder with a good arm. So, again, another, harping on a little bit, another young man with a big future in the game and in my opinion, internationally as well.
Inside out swing. And Oka, second baseman. Thomas will take that one and do it for us here tonight. It was just a reach too far. Auckland in the end from the batter's box proved the difference in my mind. Just at the right time, 2 out hits. Clutch hitting from Auckland. They go straight to the grand final. Ricky, though, 8 runs to 2. Your thoughts?
Yeah, the offense created enough runs to give Chapman defensively enough breathing room to just go at the Wellington hitters, because the Wellington offensive lineup is extremely tough, but just gave them a little bit of an advantage to when you're playing from behind as an offense. It makes a big difference when you're trying to 1 run behind or something like that.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for watching tonight. All the action, though, day 4 coming up. Whoa, can't wait to see that. We told you it'll be Hutt Valley and Wellington. They'll be on Diamond 1 because that's a semi-final matchup. The winner of that will go straight into the grand final at 12 o'clock. And obviously that'll be to face Auckland, the way we see the points table shaking down in the women's section. And the men's, we know now it'll be Wellington taking on North Harbour. They'll be kicking off at 11 a.m. on Diamond 2 to get to the grand final to face Auckland, 2 p.m. Both grand finals live on Sky Sport, the home of sport. Can't wait to see that tomorrow. The big truck's in, the crew is in for the women's grand final at 12 and the men's at 2 o'clock. On behalf of the whole of the team here, the crew, the Ballpark Broadcasting, Damien Collins doing the ground announcing on this one, and young Miss Stillwell doing the graphics. Thank you so much for that. Adrian Royal, Simon Watson with the technical expertise for us this weekend. And tonight's game, and of course, Will Nickeljohn doing the video switching on behalf of Ricky Early. I'm Big Jason Gervais, AK Chopper. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all live from ELE Sports Stadium live on Sky Sport tomorrow.